This is all that's left of a Fender Japan TL71 Telecaster. And here's how I ended up with it. In late 2022, the house that my brother had just moved into caught fire. Thankfully, everyone made it out safe and uninjured, but the fire destroyed everything: clothing, furniture, and even everything he had collected while traveling and living abroad for the past 5 years. But despite all of that, the first thing he told me when I picked up the phone was, all of the guitars are on fire. Now, these guitars weren't vintage or custom shops, or even particularly expensive to some people, but to me, they were priceless. Because the instruments that burned were a Seagull Maritime acoustic that my parents and I had picked out for him as a high school graduation present, a heavily modded Epiphone Dot that had survived 2 bands, a few tours, and more gigs than I could count, a Partscaster Strat that we designed together and built out of scraps from our parents' garage, and a Fender TL71 that he had found at a local music shop while living in Japan, and that had traveled the whole world with him. Once the smoke and fire department cleared out, everything that wasn't burnt ash was instead covered with a thick layer of soot, grime, and fire extinguishing chemicals. The Seagull and the Strat were nowhere to be found, either buried below or reduced to ash, and the Dot was unfortunately far past anything that I could salvage. And this, as you may have guessed, is all that's left of that well-traveled Japanese Telecaster. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're doing our best. The day after the fire, my brother sent me the grainiest potato quality video of what was left of the guitars to see if anything was even worth keeping. But even with only 10 pixels to work with, I was able to catch a bit of finish peeking out here, here, and here. So that got me thinking, there's a chance that all the parts under the hardware and pickguard might be completely untouched, which meant there's a chance that only the finish and the topmost layer of wood had actually burned. But a chance was all I needed to get my hopes up. So I had him bring it to our parents' place so I could take a look while visiting for the holidays, and I was right. Everywhere that wasn't directly exposed to the fire was perfectly fine, and the burns themselves looked pretty surface level save for the upper bout. So the plan for today is to clean up the hardware, remove the melted pickguard, and stand down and refinish the body. Since the refinishing process should take close to a month, you can expect a part 2 where we're gonna finish up this build. Have I done this before? Absolutely not, but that's kind of what we do here. Let's get started. So you probably noticed I did a pretty bad job of cleaning up that hardware, but I promise I did that intentionally. I just think it'd be a little bit disingenuous and pretty much impossible to restore this guitar back to factory settings. I feel like if I went about covering up all the burns and polishing all the hardware, it'd be like pretending that the fire never happened, and that wouldn't be fair to anyone, especially not the guitar. With all the factory-related guitars out there these days, we can just pretend that this is our own little secret custom shop. All right, onto the body. spray it. So I've just finished up the first coat of sealer, and it's going to be a couple hours before I can throw on the next one. After that, I'll sand down the sealer and then start on the clear coat. I'm following the StewMac finishing schedule, which I'll link below, and it consists of 3 coats per day for about 5 days and a cure of 2 weeks. So instead of subjecting you all to days and days of repetitive spraying, I think we'll just end it here for now. We'll finish this build up in part 2 in a few weeks, so make sure to stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I've got a couple other projects in the works that I'm really excited to share with you all. Thanks for watching, everyone. Happy playing!